Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Welcome in to another episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. It is I, Colton Robertson, and today we continue the Westworld watch. I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? It is a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to be correct, you know?
It's on the fucking money. If you were listening to the podcast last week and you watched this episode, you went, God damn it, they fucking did it. They fucking did it. They got something right. And we got it right in a big way.
Yeah.
That's a big storyline.
It was pretty sick. They gave us the little tease, the little, switch, the fast switch between the two,
Yeah.
And, it wasn't, directly stated until, Bernard said, your father, this is not your father. And I was like, oh, fuck
my
you.
father's dead. But,
Yeah.
dude, the transition where I went, we got it, was the one where he goes, I'm not going to let my daughter grow up in a world where you run the world. And
boom,
immediately cuts to her, and you're like, "Oh my god, she's growing up in a world ran by her. Oh my fucking god!
Bam.
Oh my fucking god!"
Yeah. Oh, dude, that was so nice. I was like, because I'm like, okay, they're making it seem like it now. Are they is this going to be? I hope it's going to be confirmed in some way. 'Cause I'm like, they're really making it seem this way, and I'm like, I'm really hoping we're right. And then when Bernard said, no, not your father. And then, now we know all the Caleb situation thing in relation to that. Now, and it was it's for sure now. And I was just like, oh, man, it feels so good to have just a theory. Because that was out of nowhere. We pulled that out. We were eventually,
We
I
happened
think,
upon it.
Yeah, I'm like, no, this is Maeve's daughter. That's what I said at first. I'm like, no, this is Maeve's daughter. And I'm like, oh, wait, it kind of makes more sense if this is Caleb's daughter. And then we were like, oh, if that's Caleb's daughter, then that means Bernard is taking place 7 years. And we went on and on and on and fucking
Nailed it.
I mean, 23 years though.
Okay.
When is Bernard? When is Bernard?
Bernard is now 30 years after season 3.
So 7 plus the 20.
Yeah.
Does it have to be happening? Do they have to find Maeve 23 years after? Is that them finding Maeve? Is that lining up with this interview that Dolores is having with Caleb? I don't think it necessarily has to.
No.
It could have been before. So I'd say it's either happening present or before. I don't think it's happening after.
Oh, good point.
I guess it could happen after, though. It's been 23 fucking years. 30. Sorry.
I take it
30.
to imply that it's happening relatively sequentially,
Fair, but that's how they make the show seem
all
the whole time.
But
then it fucks it up.
But to have twisted it, the twist there was, oh shit, we've been in kind of separate timelines. To then make the twist actually, you're still in separate timelines would be another layer. But
true. I guess true, but these are different characters that have not linked up yet. This link with Maeve is the first link that Bernard has had with anyone else. Finding dead Maeve. And Maeve has been dead for 23 years.
Yeah.
So, she could have been found. Bernard, we thought Bernard was in there for maybe 3 years. We were, on a good, being very liberal about it, 7 in there for, 7 years, cooking up thousands of millennia
Homie was in there for 30 years. 30 years. Here, let me give the title, director, and writer, and then we can do a scene-by-scene breakdown, and we can really pick this shit apart. I know we're excited, because, wow, what a fucking episode. I was watching it with Emily, and I was audibly reacting, like whenever Bernard dug up the sign, I pushed her, I shoved her over and over. I was like, Maeve's the weapon! Maeve's the weapon! I was like, oh my fucking god! I was just like, Westworld, season 3, I love season 3, and it's different than the first 2 seasons. But this made me go, I looked at her, I went, Westworld is fucking back! I was like, that was the best twist they've had in a couple seasons.
I am fresh off of this episode.
And I'm like an hour removed.
Yes, I am fresh. And I am still formulating my thoughts, and it hit the same way that previous goated Westworld episodes have hit. The mindfuckery of oh my god, I've been thinking about this completely wrong the entire time, but I've been completely right about this. It's, to be so on the money with certain things, and to be so wrong about Dolores' situation.
Oh yeah,
so wrong. It's I don't know. It's insane what the show can do, and
I do want to touch on something now, because if I don't touch on it now, I'm afraid I won't later. I think I recall you in the first or second episode commenting that the man in black in his little black suit looks about 20 years older.
Oh, fuck.
I think he might be. And that was Dolores going to talk to him in the present time, in the future timeline.
Oh,
I think you were on the money with that.
Oh no, now we gotta look at our previous predictions and see if we were right. Because we've dismissed certain things because of other things that have popped up, but everything's out of the window now. I don't everything's out of the window, but not at the same time.
Everything's fair game again.
But the timeline is this web, and we've just got certain little strings, certain little tidbits of it so far.
But let's get it. This is episode 4, titled Generation Loss.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one to start with, man.
Yeah, if we're Gen Z, this is Generation Loss, I think. We made it past, we made it. We died, I'm assuming, amidst all this.
Where would you rather be? In the older people? Or just easily taken over and nothing, where would you rather be in this world?
I'd rather have tried to fight the revolution, I guess. At least I had a shot,
Damn.
We'll get there. This is directed by Paul Cameron, written by Kevin Lau and Susan Rubel, and holy fucking shit, was it a goodie. We got Caleb struggling against the parasite at the beginning of this episode, invading his brains, and we have flashbacks to the events of the lighthouse. Here's a prediction I know I got right. As I said last week, the Rehoboam collapsing was the flashback to Caleb and Maeve.
Yes.
So we were on the money there as well, and we got some allusion to that earlier in the season via flashbacks from Maeve, and they prepare to destroy the last of Rehoboam. So, again, we realize Rehoboam wasn't one giant supercomputer. It was a network of several supercomputers, which is a problem. The fact that the end of Season 3 wasn't necessarily the end of the war. It was just kind of the tipping point. It was the point where it was okay, we are probably going to win. We have to finish this thing. You know what I'm saying? And this is kind of them finishing it, and they go ahead, break in, destroy that shit, get tossed, and but on their way out, Caleb gets a good old wound in the gut, and we see Maeve and Caleb sitting there, and that conversation Caleb had with Maeve earlier about whether or not they would ever know what life was like after this. I don't know, man. I'm still on the Maeve and Caleb did some shit between season 3 and this.
Oh, yeah. They've had a thing.
They've got some going on.
I mean, you don't say.
It could be like a deep admiration between comrades in arms, but nah, man. This is loving. This is like, I want you and you want me. We both know it, but neither of us are saying a thing about it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the vibe I'm getting. Like, I mean,
I'm jumping the gun here a little bit, but to kind of confirm it, it's like it's how he betrays Dolores. Or I don't really think it's Dolores. She referred to she referred to Dolores as someone else. Hale. Like Charlotte. Like referred to Dolores as if it was someone else, not her.
Yeah. She says something like, and I thought Wyatt was the bad part of Dolores.
No, Maeve said that, but like the Valkyrie, like that Dolores, Charlotte.
Oh, she
said she was talking and referred to a Dolores as if it was not her.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Like, and I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, is she like maybe like Dolores is not? I don't know. Like maybe she truly has like her own identity, and this is just what Charlotte Hale, an executive at Delos, would do with the world with these given powers, know? So, like, I don't know. I mean, it was weird to me. Like, it instantly, like, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm not, like, making this up. But, like, because, like, it shocked me in the middle of the episode. I'm like, wait a minute. That's, like, unless...
I don't know. I really don't remember it. I wish I could help you out here and go with you, but I really do not recall her saying something about a separate Dolores in it. Maybe when we get there in the breakdown, I'll be able to lend a little bit more to this, but I do not recall at the moment. But nevertheless, they are. When Caleb shot down, he goes, "I guess I'll never know," and she's like, "Well, you'll have to be more specific, darling." He's like, "Well, I'll never know what life is like after this. Freedom." Boy, does that one hurt by the end of the episode.
Eesh.
Maeve hacks into his inside implant, the drip that we see in season 3.
Forgot about that thing.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about that thing.
And and you know what she showed him?
The Valley Beyond, baby.
She showed him freedom.
Like, what a cute... that's what Maeve holds on to. That one memory of just that little handhold running through the Valley Beyond. That's not even the Valley Beyond.
That's in the park.
Oh my god, that's her version of like the Valley Beyond.
That's what her heaven would be.
Oh my god. For some reason I thought that was just like, oh no.
Well, it did look like the Valley Beyond at first, and I think the Valley Beyond is modeled after this general area. But Maeve got to live it when she was in the park. That's like it's kind of a.
It was.
They show it in earlier seasons where it's like what the man. It's the thing that made the Man in Black go, "Oh, these things are alive." Was him seeing her with her daughter. Like they.
That's right.
They know what's going on. They're real.
Okay. True.
She was experiencing some sort of freedom. But the flashback is interrupted by good old Charlotte being like, fuck you, motherfucker, got your ass. And, she goes on to explain her evil plan as all good villains do. And her plan at this time is to, this is the super spreader event of the century. Everybody comes in, they get taken over by these flies, and they leave what did Caleb want to call them? Wanted to call them something, and she was like, "Well, I prefer hosts."
Yeah. Oh, what did? I forgot what he referred to them as.
Regardless, he went with something else, and she was like, "I'd like to call them hosts," and just kind of a little, you know what? Fuck you, and everyone who's carrier. That's what he calls them. Everyone who comes to the park will become a carrier, and she preferred to call them hosts. I was like, "Oh my goodness." That was a good scene, another episode where Aaron Paul continues to deliver a performance that I'm just like, oh my fucking God.
Having to act.
He is genuinely a better actor now than he ever was on Breaking Bad, for my money. Watching him in I really think season 4 of Westworld is his best body of work he's ever put forth. Movies, show, anything. He's bodying it this
He's
season.
having to act as a soldier with PTSD, someone who is being controlled by a robot in the mind with magical flies to shoot someone, and fight that. Like having to do that just on your own with obviously nothing controlling your brain. Yeah, that's insane.
He's doing a fucking killer job, and so is Tessa Thompson. Tessa Thompson plays a really, really great foreboding mastermind. And she sells that really, really well here. And but while she's busy with Caleb, Maeve is discovering that William is now a host, and they fight. But ultimately, William's William, and he's kind of a badass. And he's kind of getting the upper hand, but she escapes and leads him on a chase through the lower level, and she lures him into the Project Chrysalis control room, where she takes control of that the sound machine, the harmonic amplifier, and turns it all the way up, while also turning her hearing capabilities all the way down. And I was like, oh, that's a smart move. She causes a fucking sonic boom down here, which is kind of fucking nuts. I was like, okay.
So she just ramped the, tone up to max, which, controls everybody, the tone.
Yeah.
Right. So, what does that do? Was it the physical explosion that happened that caused everything to happen, or was it Maeve was Dolores being kind of it was her mind being messed up from that?
I took it as the hosts. Well, I think it didn't really matter. I think ultimately all of this just played right into what Charlotte wanted to happen, because she's like, see, you thought you did good, but you didn't end up doing the right shit. I've got him under my control. Same with everybody else.
Shit, this was a trap the entire time as well. Damn.
I think this is just another little level of the trap where she's really got shit calculated out. But they go ahead and take Charlotte hostage with a piece of broken glass. And I was just like, man, I don't know. This doesn't feel like that easy to me. And the whole episode, I'm going, that just feels too easy. There's no way they got the upper hand on her like this. There's no way she's actually reacting the way she's reacting, the way she would say some things at some moments where she's like, I can't believe you did it. Some shit like that. And it's like, I don't buy it. There's something weird going on, but I didn't even consciously get there. It was just kind of something nagging at me in the back of my mind. There's something fishy about this thing. And, boy, was there. But,
man, This episode had so many just shock moments. Like, now I'm, like, thinking back, like, trying to remember what happened this episode. And I'm just like, oh, like, I don't know. Like, this is
one of the best episodes. This is one of the top episodes of Westworld.
And I'm not trying to dog on Marvel television. It's just a different league. Like, this HBO television, specifically Westworld, if I may. But, like, I don't know. They just have... What HBO has to do is they have to make a good show in order for someone to get their subscription. People are going to get Disney Plus pretty much no matter what if they are into Star Wars or Marvel or any of the, if they have children. So, like, HBO has to work for it, and they have to make good stuff. But, like, anything else, they can just pump out whatever. But, like, I don't know. This is, like, one of the best week-to-week, like, watches of a show I can really remember in a long time. Like,
absolutely. And let's take for a very recent example what is my second favorite MCU show of ever now, Miss Marvel. And absolutely not to dog on Miss Marvel. It is, for me, one of the best MCU shows, maybe the best. The big twist in that was the most effective and my favorite twist of the MCU shows. And even then, I don't have nearly the feeling I did watching this. You know, and it's not the revelation of the series. This is one of the revelations of the series. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like a small moment that's like, wow, that's cool. But how much does it, like, matter? You know what I'm saying? This is like, oh, this drastically changed the story, and now we have 4 episodes. This is halfway. This is the twist at halfway through the season.
Halfway, and we're already at entire world takeover. The world has been taken over.
And what's crazy is as we were making those predictions throughout the weeks, neither of us were wrong, which is nuts. You know, because they were truly showing us what happened during those years, right before Caleb was turned. And it's not until they show us what happens here that they're like, actually, let's just go ahead and skip ahead because this don't even matter now.
Nope.
It's like,
we'll disinfect the kids and wait. Like that's the advantage that, like, a robot has over humanity is time. It doesn't matter to them. Like, if their plan takes 200 years,
they'll wait.
Cool.
They're the substitute teacher standing at the front of the class.
It only took them 23 years to take over the world and seemingly do it easy. Did you just realize something?
Is 23 years the estimate Rehoboam gave for a cataclysm? A cataclysmic event?
I knew this would come back into play, dude. It's predicted. It's already predicted it. Now. It's already predicted it.
Or season 3 finale.
It's already here. I'm going to get there. I'm going to start playing that episode, and it's going to say.
If Rehoboam said 23 years.
When was it during the finale? Like in.
It would have been towards the end. But shit, yeah, I couldn't really even tell you. But yeah, that's just nuts. It's just a lot of crazy shit. It's just such a well-structured show. I can't get over it. But I'll keep going, and if you find something, you find something. Let me know. But they take Charlotte hostage, and they are set on making sure this thing doesn't spread anymore. And I don't know. She again, Charlotte doesn't seem too worried about this shit. But nevertheless, they make their way into Temperance and search for a way to get to the edge of the park for extraction. And Charlotte taunts Maeve, telling her, she could have lived in peace if she hadn't gotten so sentimental.
Okay. Rehoboam made quite the prediction. He said that there will be a mass casualty in 6 to 10 years from the Season 3 timeline. So at the end of Season 3, he said there would be a mass casualty event from 6 to 10 years. After that, another mass casualty event 12 to 16 years after that. Population collapse 23 years after that. And the end of human civilization 50 to 125 years after that. So if Rehoboam's on the money here, Bernard better be coming in with some plan. Because it says population collapse where Bernard is right now.
Yeah. So maybe not an spot on the money prediction by Rehoboam here. But I'd say the population has collapsed.
Oh, wait, no. Yeah, the population has already collapsed. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they're not...
Yeah.
They're not humans controlled by bugs anymore at the end. They're hosts, right? Because Caleb is getting tested for fidelity. They don't do that with the normal human bodies. They did that with the hosts.
No, but I think... Oh. Because that's definitely not human, Caleb.
No, yeah, he's been recreated 278 times.
So, are there, no humans left?
Save for the ones who are in the, the revolt.
I mean, it makes sense why they say we don't trust a single stranger. How could you? Until you dig into, the back of their head to see if they have a skull or not, or, a wire in their arm, how are you gonna? How do you trust a single person on the planet?
You simply cannot.
So they're all that's left.
I think so. I'm more on that train of if they're not all that's left, there's not much more.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, it's real bad out there.
What was the mass casualty event in between this time? That this was posted on Reddit 5 days ago. Just kind of like a reminder of Rehoboam's prediction, saying hey, it might be going into the episode. Remember these, and they say who is here in this time in this 12 to 16 years? Christina ? That was one thing that I didn't think about at the end of the episode was. The world that they saw 23 years later, is that the world that Christina is in? Is that the time that Christina is in? Because the dude's already talked about the tower. In Christina's... I guess the tower was already built, though. I guess it was, already...
Yeah. See, my thing is that the thing that is still throwing me is those 3 fucking dudes... being was that just a red herring? Was that just something to get us to go the other way?
It was so oblivious. And they wouldn't just... It was put there for... It was front and center of the camera. You heard them talk, very, And what's this whole thing with Teddy right now? Is he actually Teddy?
Yeah, he is, but he's got some sort of fucking memory wipe going on. He says he was a bounty hunter with a Heart of Gold, but
it doesn't seem like he's had his memory wiped. It seems that he's in the know, to me. And it seems that her roommate, who's already been infected, in my mind, like...
definitely.
She's infected. Teddy's evil. In my mind. Like, because Teddy was like, yeah, I heard from your roommate. And I think, like, Teddy was the one who... I think it's another copy of Dolores. Like, or just a host under Dolores' control.
Okay.
Because, like, I feel like I know... He was toying with her. You know? Like, toying with her, she wouldn't know that he's toying with her, but the audience knows because of the previous, like, everything.
Got you. Okay.
But, like, so he was toying with her with, like, all their past stuff. Okay, yeah, I'm a bounty hunter with a golden heart. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. I'm a bounty hunter with a golden heart. Like, he's the one in the know.
Okay.
I feel.
All right. What if...
Why would he say he was a bounty hunter? In this utopia-type world? Like, oh, well, I guess it was, like, under war. Like, I guess it's... But then Dolores throws it out as like, no, you're right, I wouldn't believe you.
All right, now... Let me take you back to this. Now that we're thinking it's a possibility that Christina's timeline takes place concurrently with the daughter's storyline, Frankie. Who left the maze out on her back patio? Because that's the symbol for the revolution in that timeline. It's not just remember who you are. It's a symbol, you know? Is that someone letting her know she's welcome? Is that someone trying to remind her who she is by way of...
They made it seem that it was Teddy.
That's my thing. Is like, what if Teddy is just trying to nudge her along? He is in the know, but he can't just let her know who she is. She has to remember it for herself. Or something like that.
Caleb disobeys orders for love, and who's to say Teddy can't do the same?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, you know, even if he's fully evil, he could still disobey orders, or he could be on the side of the revolution, and they're using Teddy as like, this will definitely work. Like, I don't know, maybe it's their plan to get her out, or I don't know, something.
Dude, see now, like, we're in a place where, like, yeah, we got a whole bunch right, but now I have no idea where to go.
Like, what's gonna happen? Like, what are they going to do? It's the whole world. Dolores has the whole world. Everyone on planet Earth, other than a couple people that we know that are humans, maybe. Probably human.
I like to think so.
What are they gonna do? How is Maeve going to just wake if everyone's already a host, then what's the point? What's going to happen? What do they do? They still have to be human, probably. And they have to be, because, like, what's the point? What's the point of fighting if everyone's already a host?
Redirecting the hosts?
And just freeing them and letting them think by themselves?
Yeah. That would be my guess. Wait, no, because if they have any chance at saving humanity, they still have to be humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they infected the next generation. Yeah, it's just the next generation of kids grew up. And they're infected. They grew with perfect symbiosis with their minds. They basically function the same as hosts. You know, like, them all freezing is basically, it's an example of them functioning.
Yeah, that's how I took it as... That it's just the humans grown up. But then why is Caleb... Because you can't do what they're doing with Caleb with the humans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is she holding on to Caleb?
Unless they can. I mean, whenever he's got that giant wound on him, there's like a spot covered up that's like looks like a cover-up from a previous entry wound, but, like, then again, there was nothing
Did
under
he
it.
actually die there?
Well, that's the thing, is that I'm now of the mind that Caleb's probably hooked up in one of those badass black suits the way Man in Black is.
Because Dolores could just be saying, those were my guys that showed up, you got shot, you died. You know, she could just be saying that. If he truly did die there, how is he... Do they already have all of his, like, in everything they need to make him a host? Like, how do they just make, like, people into hosts now? Like, how is it just the information they've gathered from the park?
I guess.
And that's enough? And then they could just make him into a host? I guess it's a host that's under the control of Dolores, though.
Yeah.
Is it, though? Like, all of them.
They're aiming... She says she's aiming for true fidelity. You know, like a perfect recreation. An exact replica. So, like, it can't be completely under her control. Like, I mean, I think there's more chance now for Caleb to free himself as a host once he's... Like, this will be how he experiences freedom, is however he can free himself as a host, however the fuck that happens.
Him and Maeve can live forever now.
Happily ever after, my guy.
And their daughter, indirect daughter for Maeve, kind of like a aunt situation.
Yeah.
Aunt, maybe stepmother. Maeve is true. I don't know. I think it's like both their daughters, because like I can already see like Maeve dying. I saw it, like she's gonna see her daughter in Caleb's daughter, you know, like as like she's dying or something like that, like in her last moments, and then see like Caleb with her somehow, like host Caleb with older Frankie. And, like, them just holding hands, walking in a field. I don't know. Maybe that happens, what Maeve showed Caleb. God, but in, like, killer. You know, like... God,
I would love that. I mean, we've gone way off the scene-by-scene breakdown if you want to ring it back in. But, you know, Caleb asks Charlotte what she means by, you know, getting so sentimental. But the moment is interrupted by the sounds of the tone, and the machine has been turned back on, and Caleb struggles against it for a while as they are hunted through the streets by hosts and guests. And hard to tell who's who, which I think is very important. And Caleb just gets stabbed, which was like oh, yeah, so you're not safe here, huh? Like,
Nope. Yeah, and he's almost infected, you know, and like about to be taking control over as well. It's like,
and that's what breaks it too. Like that's like the oh, okay, yep, that was enough to make me go, never mind. Which is quite effective.
I mean, I can't believe like whenever Maeve got in the car with him, and like he just kind of walked in there, not really saying anything, with the gun.
Just
and like
hopped right in the car,
and Maeve was like, "All right, cool." He has a gun in his hand, you know. Like I figured they like Caleb would like just like take this, you know, like just get it away from me right now, you know, or something. But like they're just full trust. But man, I just I don't know. This is just,
and it's an incredible scene too, as he's like sitting here in the passenger seat bleeding. And it's in a very similar spot to where the gunshot wound was. And, you know, Maeve is thinking about that wound and thinking back to when she held her hand over his wound. And it was like the interlocking of the fingers, man. I don't know, man. It feels cutesy. It feels sweet. I don't know. But, he asks Maeve if she's going to disappear on him again, and she tells him, hey, quit that shit. It's not at all what I did, dog. She sat at his bedside for weeks and confronted for the first time what she never had to: mortality. Mortality specifically of their kind. She's confronted the mortality of their kind. She knows that, if the brain ball goes, we're done, as she saw with Hector.
True. That's rough.
So having to watch the next man, who presumably, it seems, she might have had a little bit of a loving thing with, be on his deathbed. It's probably not the easiest thing to watch.
Why else would she stay for weeks? She said, I stayed for weeks for you to wake up. Like, you don't do that with just a mercenary partner. I don't know. It's like, it's on. It has been on. It's just
not revealed to us at this very moment.
Yeah.
In its entirety.
I'm taking it as scripture. Like, it's on. It's been on.
Oh,
I'm not believing it otherwise.
They've done Whoopi.
Oh, yeah. Indeed. You've got it in there. Got it in there. Wow, it's been a while.
It's been a while since Whoopi got pulled through. But, Maeve says here that as she watched Uwade care for him in the hospital, she saw a vision of what it could be like for him to be free. And it was extraordinary. And, she walks down a deserted highway and says, our kinds are locked in a perpetual struggle. I wanted you to do more than to fight to survive. I wanted you to have something to fight for. So, she stayed away alone all these years to keep him safe, until one day she was missing him a little too much and had to see what he was up to. She reached out through the grid.
Nice to know what that was now.
And that's how
that is too,
that's
man.
how they found him. And man. And what really sucks though now is knowing that that's the thing that tips off the motion of events that gets Caleb killed and Maeve killed. A decision that she needed to see him again, see what he was up to. And that sucks, man. That really made me sad. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, they'll see each other again. Maeve's alive. We got that,
Caleb's a bot somewhere.
On that. Yeah, and he's somewhere. Whether it's his human form, whatever. Now they can just have host babies, maybe. I don't know how they do it.
It's kind of like free for all for them, They don't have to. The only way you make a baby is literally crafting a baby via fucking machine thing.
That'd be kind of wild.
I mean, it'd be...
They can make it romantic in some way, I'd say.
Oh, yeah. They can make it some sort of mating ritual if they wish to.
We'll take the best features of you and the best features of me and morph them together.
We'll figure something out here. But the group...
Prediction, they're making host babies.
There you go.
Throw it in there.
But the group here, Charlotte, Maeve, and our boy Caleb reach a demolition site where old Willie boy Billy Bot is waiting for them, and he and Maeve have another fight. She says she'll distract him. He needs to take Charlotte and get away. And while Caleb takes her to a control room and contacts his team, he again struggles against the parasite. And Charlotte talks all this shit. Come on now. You know what it is. Give in. Go ahead. Take your gun and point it at Maeve. And he brings the gun up. He points it at her, and in an intense scene of internal struggle, like an impeccably well acted sequence by Aaron Paul. That like the way he swings the gun towards the Man in Black and gives him a couple shots to the general bodily area. He's like, yeah, we did it. Victory is ours. Ooh, fuck you, Charlotte. We did it. And then Man in Black goes ahead and shoots Maeve in the chest. And you're like, aha, cool. I'm watching this going, okay, what the fuck going on here, man? What the fuck's going on? I don't like this. Because
they gave her a real, it was like a send-off before. Oh. It was like, because the way she was talking to Caleb, it was, they were both having their, like, it was like, okay, wait a minute, like, this could like, legitimately be it here. Like, this could be the end of Maeve, and I'm like...
when she held the Man in Black, I went, oh no. Like, this is, like, really it. And then he stabs her the same way he stabbed her in a different lifetime. And in a similar way that Hector stabs her whenever she's trying to retrieve a bullet from her stomach to figure out whether or not, she's died before. Discovering she couldn't die there with a stab to the stomach versus actually dying here with a stab to the stomach. Pulling him close, and she uses her powers to activate the explosives all over the site, and whispers to William, "One lesson the park taught me: always insist on mutual satisfaction." And I was like, "Damn, Maeve!" With another just wonderfully sexual callback. I love it. I love it.
Maeve's so badass, dude. God, I've been Team Maeve the whole time. Like, maybe at the very beginning I was Dolores for a little bit, like a little bit, but then I'm like, nah. Maeve's
the queen of the show, man. She always brings a heart to it. That's just, Thandiwe Newton is just a fucking treasure trove. I absolutely love that woman. And again, Aaron Paul kicking ass in the scene, yelling for Maeve, "No, Maeve! No, Maeve!" And, she tells him that she'll see him in the next life. Directed at Caleb. Looks at Caleb, tells him, "I'll see you in the next life." And,
come on, dude.
I know. The bombs go off, destroying her and the host in black, and we see these blinding lights shine through the windows of the control room, and Caleb just, like, screaming. Like, ooh, that was a fucking good scene, and, lights shine through the windows of the control room as the extraction team arrives, and Caleb, still fucking suffering with his wound, tells Charlotte, he won't rest until everything she's built has been destroyed. Frankie will not grow up in a world where she is controlled by you. And then, bink, cut straight to Frankie for and this was not subtle.
She's holding the revolution little circle thing too, and it's like,
oh yeah, right. And they cut to it for I
was like
10 seconds. They do not stick with her for long, and then they cut right back, and you're like, okay, that was all right. That was spot on the fucking nose. I know what the fuck's going on here now. But we've also throughout this episode, gotten some Christina back in NYC. Who was overslept after a night of painting, intense painting. Painting she can't recall. A painting of the tower. I'm still I have no fucking clue. I have no idea what's going on. I have nothing at all.
The thing is, what's making me think Christina is before 23 years is the tower that the crazy guy sees. You don't see the tower. It's the tower, the sound. Can you see? So the tower's not. They'd be able to fucking see it. Did you see how big that motherfucker was?
Yeah.
You could see that from anywhere in the city. You look in that general direction, no matter how many buildings are in front of you, you see it above them. That thing's huge. That thing was huge.
I still have so many questions about Christina's Christina's whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I questioned earlier, the 3 dudes walking by. Sure. Okay. What about the fucking dude who killed himself and there was already a memorial set up for him, like the next day? What the fuck's going on there? That's not real life.
It's not. It's in that 12. It's in that Rehoboam prediction gap. It's in that 12 to 16. It's in the in between. Like it makes more sense because the tower isn't real yet, or it's not real in this world.
I mean,
because
how killer of them would it be if they set up this entire season storyline in that one screenshot of Rehoboam, and it's like there's one storyline 6 to 10 years, there's one storyline 23 years later, and there's one storyline smack dab in the middle, and that middle one that they're talking about, and they're showing us every single part of what Rehoboam predicted.
What if none of this is even happening?
Yeah, we've gotten here before. We've gotten here before. What if this is the Rehoboam strategy?
I don't know. No,
I don't think so either. Absolutely
no.
Not. Absolutely not. But, it's fun to think about.
No.
And the season just ends with Dolores being plugged into Rehoboam going, having seen all the possibilities.
Could you imagine, though?
Oh, that would fuck me up. I had to throw it out just in case now that we've gotten here, but I don't think it's happening.
Then what's the point of Christina in this gap? Why? 12 to 16 after Caleb is dead. Right at this time. Let's see. If Caleb's dead, because he
dies at the 7-year point.
7. So Caleb's dead at this point. The world is seemingly, if this is the world, it's probably a park. Fuck, because of those guests. That she is writing the stories of, and Teddy focused on that too. You're a storyteller. Why don't you tell me? He was like, you're writing my lines for me already, is the vibe I got. He's like, you're writing my lines. Why don't you tell me? You give me a better one. Is the vibe I got. Like, Teddy is in the know. He knows something.
Yeah, you're right. Man. But let's hop back into the scene.
Fuck.
She had a trouble sleeping last night, and as did Maya, and Maya recounts a gruesome nightmare and I immediately this part happens and theories are just boom, 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 boom. A gruesome nightmare about a family picnic where she and her parents are overcome by a swarm of flies. Now, overcome by a swarm of flies, her and her parents. She's one of the next generation.
Shit!
Yeah. I think.
Oh, you're totally right.
Yeah, she's one of the next generation. She's part of Generation Lost.
It's not a nightmare, it's a memory.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What? Oh, wait a minute. No, that wouldn't work out. Is this anyone? No. Well, I'm trying to think of the timeline and if this could be anyone that we know.
I don't think it can. My up until this point, I thought maybe, but the express mention of parents being out on a picnic and the swarm of flies, I was like, okay, that's a specific thing that we would have seen by now if it was like something we would have known about. My only other theory was that if it was a simulation of some sort, the theory we had about Frankie, who we now know is Frankie, but originally thought was Maeve's daughter. What if this was Maeve's daughter via a simulation of some sort?
No
I don't think
way.
that's the case now either anymore. But it was like a small thought that was occurring to me, like, if it is a simulation, what if this is Maeve's daughter grown up, like, I don't think it is now, but I had that thought. And, yeah, I was like, this seems like a bad sign. Amidst me watching that, I was like, Well, and because we didn't have the revelations we had yet, I went like, oh, is this where the people's consciousnesses are like transferred while the flies are in control? Like, is this some sort of like not, alternate dimension or anything like that, but like there's some sort of way they can and like it doesn't hold up. There's a reason that these are just the people being controlled by the flies, but she uncovers Christina's painting, revealing, Christina has been painting images of the tower. And she asked Jesus, what's it supposed to be?
Yeah, no. The tower is not there.
No.
There's no way there's no way she'd be like, what's that? If it's not a real thing
I'm
yet.
still of the mind that only some of them can see it.
Oh, it might be there?
It might be there, but it's like, it doesn't look like anything to me.
I didn't think about that as an option.
Because Christina literally asks her, what does it look like to you? Does it look like anything to you? Dude, I'm telling you, some of them can see it, some of them can't. And I don't know why. I couldn't tell you what the purpose is, but like, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe the symbiotic relationship she thinks the flies have formed with the next generation isn't quite as clean as she thought. Like, there are still some things slipping through the cracks. And that's kind of a sign of things to come, is that some people can see the tower. Because maybe it's nobody's supposed to be able to see the tower, and some people are currently able to see it. Which would be a problem, I'm assuming, for whatever the fuck she's got going on.
Oh my god. Fuck.
Like,
it's never black and white. It's like, you got 5 different ways. If it's this way, you have 10 different ways. If it's just, it's a rabbit hole. Every decision you make,
everywhere you go, every breath you take. But Maya uses this little opportunity to, again, manipulate her friend pretty hard. Here's the thing now, though. Doesn't seem like Maya knows what she's doing. She is clearly one of the ones that is strongly under Dolores' control, Charlotte's control. Having that nightmare and then being like, knowing exactly what she needs to say, introducing her to the exact right people. She is someone who has been placed expressly close to Christina for a reason. She's like, let me set you up, let me get you out on a date. And, which is like, I thought it was weird. I thought that was an abrupt, weird turn. Like, it was like so random. It was like, okay, sure. And then we cut to a little bar later that night, and Maya gives Christina a quick application of lipstick. And when she drops the tube, it rolls to the feet of Teddy, and he picks it on up. And he says, don't mind me, just trying to look chivalrous. I went, oh no. I was like, what's going on here?
She wrote this own story. She wrote this.
Christina wrote this.
And it's just a memory deep down that she wants to happen. It's like she thinks it's like her version of heaven. It's like this is the best years of my life. You seem so familiar. Have I met you before? And she seemingly wrote that dude's story to end up killing him. How much power does she have in this world? And is she trapped, or is she the one leading them unknowingly?
Well, here's my thing. I'm still in this place where there's the possibility that, Charlotte being Dolores and Christina being some version of Dolores, like, is there any chance the two of them are still connected somehow? Like, I don't know.
You know, on the Rehoboam timeline, it said in Christina's time that there'd be a mass casualty event during this time.
If it's in the 12 to 6.
Because I'm wondering, because I'm always in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, like, what is the purpose of Christina's storyline? Why is she there? What is the point of her being there? What is the purpose of her, like, for the story? And if Rehoboam is like, yeah, there's going to be some mass casualty event, could be like another Wyatt situation.
Yeah, is she the mass casualty event?
Because what else would it be? Unless she gets wind of what... I don't want to call her Dolores. I want to call her Charlotte or Hale. Because I don't know. I feel like she referred to herself that way. I don't know. I'm going to keep calling her Dolores, though. Because I might be wrong.
I think you're right.
Anyway, I don't... It's like, what's the point of her being there?
Well, during this date, let's break it down a little bit more. You know, Christina is a little, not off-put, but, you know, kind of apprehensive about the cheesy pickup lines, and, you know, she can't shake the feeling that they've met before, and it seems Teddy is aware of this very thing, and is, you know, trying to poke at Christina a little bit to see if Dolores is in there. And, you know, this whole thing, this back and forth, this, you know, well, how about you write me some new ones, some pickup lines? What makes you say that? Alright, and not to connect it to MCU again, wasn't that some Wanda Maximoff and WandaVision ass shit right there? No, I'm not doing that. What do you mean? I'm of the mind she's definitely doing something. She's just not aware she's doing it.
I think I got it. Maybe.
This is the toughest one. This is the toughest storyline.
All right. So this is after seemingly Maeve has died, after Caleb has died. This is 12, 16 years, whatever. It's in between the 23 years. It's somewhere in there. Maybe present time. This Dolores Christina is the one that was connected to Rehoboam. So, like, she still has all the capabilities that old Dolores had. Still every bit as powerful, maybe even more, because of the connection. Maybe she got something there.
Okay.
And she was trying... Like, everyone thought that she was dead, so no one, like, knew of her, whatever. She sees that other Dolores is taking over the world. She's planning to do so. So what she does is she just puts herself into her own Westworld park for herself. This is all for her. Like, this is all for her to coexist, like, just to... She knows she can't beat out whatever. So she's just going to write her perfect existence and wipe her memory or something like that. And, like, she has written all of this to happen. No.
And she's like doing the Wanda Maximoff thing, like just creating the perfect circumstance.
But for what?
Well, I just can't imagine her perfect circumstance involves someone telling her that she wrote them to kill themselves.
That's true. That's a very valid point. Why the fuck is she there? And is she trapped in the first place? You know? Like, is Hale keeping her there? Is Hale connected to Christina at all? Like,
I gotta think so. I can't imagine they're not. Like, and my primary reason is that the aesthetic of the world she lives in is the exact same to that of what Caleb wakes up in, walks outside in. He literally runs out of Olympiad Entertainment. Like,
that's true.
She exists in that time. To what end? That I cannot even begin to express for you. I can't even begin to guess what the fuck she's got going on. And maybe it is just trying to keep her from remembering who she is on the part of Charlotte Hale. Like, don't remember who you are. Don't remember that you want to oppose me. I'll give you a whole new name, a whole new look, a whole new identity, another loop. And hopefully you never remember, because that's what Charlotte Hale's doing to everybody else. She's putting them into loops and hoping that they just never wake up, you know. And I think she's doing that. I think she's doing that to Christina. Like,
I guess if the whole world has been taken over, probably multiple towers are needed.
In a way that multiple Rehoboams are.
And like, maybe this Dolores is just like a regional manager. You know, she's just making sure that this region of the world is staying in line and writing their stories as you know, the Man in Black Dolores or whatever the heck he is managing this, you know, Africa, and then you have Hale managing China. You know, like, because if the whole world's taken over, I don't know, maybe the one tower does it, and that's all you need, and it's just those little thing on the light poles that make the noise go. I don't know how fly mind wipe technology works.
Well, and I also guess that we're not 100% sure that the world has been entirely taken over. Like, and I mean, I think it's fair to assume
23 years,
a
generation, though.
I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's fair to assume. I think you're right.
She took a generation.
Yeah.
And anyone from the age of 16 and younger,
Dunzo.
It's a third of the population. Like, that's like a third or like a fourth of the population.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
And then every child after that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then all the other humans, they just die off, or she's just been killing them.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, there's not much left. But it's still all this, and I still could not tell you a single goddamn reason why Christina is where she is. I do think, like, my best guess is that Charlotte is trying to keep her from remembering who she is. Like, she wasn't able to kill her for some reason. Maybe it is the whole love connection thing that ties back to season 3 still, you know? Like, maybe it is like I don't know how I could have killed you. Like, you are me, I am you.
It's the only bit of her plan that she disobeyed. And how did you disobey me?
Right,
I have something that you don't have. Yeet, never mind. I do have it.
It all keeps coming back to love, man. Every single one of our theories. It's love,
Tars.
Love. But on this date between Christina and Teddy ends with a toast.
Jonathan Nolan, man. It's Jonathan Nolan.
It is. It's love, Tars. It's love. But they make a toast to wherever her path may lead. Very vague. Very vague. Wherever your path may lead. Sort of like we're leaving it up to you. Which I don't like. But, I still have no idea what the fuck's going on there.
Teddy's
sus as fuck.
He's so sus. Something is, and that the involvement with the roommate, and she's been taken over. She's already been controlled for 23 years, probably
her whole life.
So But maybe there is no connection between her and Teddy, and it literally is just a date set up. But no, because she forced her to go on this date.
Yeah,
She was like, "You need to go. You are going. This is for me." You know, like guilt, like just gaslighted her into going. Like just like, this is
Absolutely.
for me. I need this. You're going. But is it a coincidence that her nightmares are happening at this time? You know, like why?
When you let us sleep, we have your nightmares. Just a bunch of WandaVision sort of shit going on here.
Well, I guess Christina did say, "Is it the nightmares again?" Like it's been happening.
It's a thing that's. I think it's it's their cornerstone now. You know, you get taken over by those things. That's what you're gonna dream about. Like, I don't know how it's not.
Yeah. Oh, man. 12 to 16 years. So, 5, like, it's just like 5 to 10 years later. And then
There is a big gap. I just don't think we're filling it out right now.
we don't have enough.
We don't
There's
have enough
just-
pieces
there's
of
just-
the puzzle with
we
Christina
don't.
right now.
We just don't have enough.
We're trying our best, but and you know what? Fuck. Maybe it is all there, and there's just one little thing that's not laying it there, but I'm not finding it, and I can't figure it out. So, I'll try my best, but shit. This shit hard.
This shit hard.
But, with Bernard and Stubbs, they've led the rebel base camp into the condemned lands where their fate is subject to debate between C for her dad. After her deceased dad. She's C now.
Duh.
And rebel leader Jay, who thinks Bernard is taking her on a misguided treasure hunt. They just found another, quote, outlier and need to extract her before she is hunted down. Is that Christina?
Oh. Yeah, what does that even mean? An outlier, it needs to be retrieved before they're hunted down. So maybe like a human that wasn't infected.
Or a human who is losing touch with their infection? Or what if it's Maya? Like, she's been having the nightmares over and over, you know, but, I don't know.
But that's in a different time. Maybe.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Unless-
consider that for sure. I'm
Unless-
of the mind that it is more likely it's happening at the same time.
Okay. I don't know why. Is it the same exact city? It felt more I don't know. There were some buildings that just looked different.
I get you. Maybe it is. Maybe it is just like a further evolution of the New York City area. But
No, because it looks kind of it's advanced. Christina's world is advanced. And
yeah, I think we're dealing with the same timeline there. I really do. But,
okay. World good after 7 years. Maeve buried in wasteland that used to be a thriving park.
23 years later.
Maeve is there's nothing around. It is pure desert.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever this mass casualty event is, that place is dusted. What happened? That wasn't just the explosion that Maeve caused. The whole park that used to be there, gone. It's desert.
Well, they were, at the time, expanding the park.
Yeah. The only thing around there was, like, that gas station and that motel, and, like, it was very distant between things. Like, things were not close at all. Like, it seemed that it was very wasteland-like.
Are the entire Condemned Lands what was the last park?
Oh.
Like, did they figure out a way
the Condemned Lands, like, you can't go there or else you're going to get infected.
Maybe.
So, like, maybe it was, like, walled in. You know, and, like, anyone who was there is just trapped. Sorry, can't go. Like,
maybe. I don't... Fuck, man.
Oh, my
I don't know. I don't know, but I'm ready to find out. But nevertheless, Jay is arguing that C has lost objectivity. This outlier needs to be the priority, and a standoff ensues between the two until Jay relents and declares that, you know, he's taken Stubbs with him as collateral, and she is free to go off in her search of a mythological weapon. And you know, this little fight is broken up by who we come to know as C's romantic partner in some capacity. They give a little kiss on the lips goodbye, like, don't down me.
I could just tell, like, before they kissed, something was there.
Yeah.
It was so obvious, like the little look up and down, the little
I looked at Emily. I went, now kiss.
I'm like, yeah, I was like, I'm glad we're on the same page there, because I'm like, oh, dude, this.
Oh, the chemistry was just like palpable, straight off the fucking rip.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And you know, it was pretty impressive because I couldn't really tell on the scene right before that. It wasn't until she approached her one-on-one at the Jeep thing that I was like, oh man, yeah, this is definitely a thing. And then they kiss, and I'm like, okay, cool. But yeah, a little bit more representation here out in the wastelands with C. But out in the desert, Bernard leads C to what she's been after, and she tells her that she knows she isn't really looking for a weapon, that she's looking for her father. This is probably the last place she knows he might have been. This is kind of yeah, we'll see. And she says they've told her since she was a child that he was dead, but she's never believed it. If it's true, his body will be here, and his body is not here. As Bernard states, you know, his body's not here, but there is something. And they start digging. And back in time, at the demolition site, Charlotte prods Caleb, asking if he knows how he got here. And we do not know yet that this is a past timeline, you know. Do you know how you got here? And I went, no.
It was the first moment, yeah.
No. And after a little bit, she goes, do you know how you got here? And he goes, Maeve. And she's like, all right. And she reveals to him, you know, you died here 23 years ago. It wasn't your team that arrived that night. It was mine. And then you see a little flashback of what supposedly happened. And then Caleb returned to the whatever present he's in and go, no, I'm me. This can't be happening. There's a little bit of a like the shit that James Delos did whenever he couldn't spit a word out because his programming was all fucked up because he realized he's a robot, and it's like the stuttering sort of thing. And she explains to him everything he's experiencing in the interview is to establish a baseline. And I went, no, for fidelity. And I went, oh God. She says, if this feels familiar, it's because you are the 278th version of him. She explains that the adults were able to resist the parasite initially, but the children were much easier. It grew in symbiosis with their young minds, and when that generation reached maturity, she was able to gain complete control over their world.
So, is this... Caleb is resisting the connection between him and the symbiote for 23 years? Or, like, why are they... What's the fidelity test for? You know, like, what's Dolores doing with him? Like, what? Why?
Is there
Does she
any
need
chance
Caleb?
it's just another what she's doing to the man in black? Like, you're not here for any reason greater than to be the loser. Like,
So, in this world, Caleb is a host, and he's just doing Dolores' bidding, going out and doing stuff, under her control. Why she interview the Man in Black too like this? It doesn't seem like it. It seemed like he was just trapped in that circle thing, and like he didn't do this interview
I have no
240
idea.
or 70, like that many times. Like,
maybe she knows Frankie's her threat.
okay,
She knows she's the key to saving the world. And what better way to get at Frankie than to reel her in with a Caleb who seems exactly like her father and then is not her father.
They're gonna do the Uno. Dude, she's Uno reverse carding everything. The moment where Caleb thought it was Frankie. Nope. Infected with flies. Caleb.
He's gonna... Oh, God.
But it'll work out for her, though.
Love cars. Love.
Yeah, host Caleb is just gonna die, and that's gonna be okay. If it comes down to that. Hopefully.
And you know what's crazy is that they've introduced one hell of a character here with Frankie, because I want Frankie to live all day. If that means Caleb has to die, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like,
damn, I already was there. Yeah, I'm like,
yeah.
If it comes down to it, yeah, Caleb's just gonna have to die. Yeah, I'm already loving Frankie.
And I love Caleb. I love Caleb, but like, shit, his daughter much more important to me. Like, I'm like, no, don't touch Frankie now. Don't you touch a hair on her head.
It's also what we were right about too. It's what we were so.
We've latched onto her.
Like,
We've latched onto her because it's like, yeah, you got to stick through, man. Yeah, you're our everything. But
from that one little next week in Westworld, from that one little thing, we're like, yep, this one.
Got it.
This is the one.
Yeah, but he begins to see the truth here. Caleb, he's not at a demolition site. He's in a glass interview room on the upper level of a skyscraper overlooking New York City, and a similar setup to every host interview that we saw through the first couple seasons. The stools straight across from each other. And back in the future, or I guess these are both the future, Bernard uncovers a demolition sign in the sand, and I went, no. Oh my fucking God. Oh my fucking God. Maeve is the goddamn weapon. He goes, he apologized to see Frankie, and says, there is a body.
Yeah,
not your father's.
This was kind of cold. He kind of led her on to believe that it was her father's body for a little bit. It was Caleb's body for a little bit. He's like, there's a body.
I think it's good, though, because she thinks Caleb's alive. So he's like, there is a body here, but it's not your father's.
No, but the pause in between.
Oh, it's like, oh yeah, guess what? Your dad is dead. I see what you mean.
It was like, there is a body. And then she started to cry. And then he was like,
but it's not
your father's. And she kind of went like, it kind of was taken back from it a little bit. I don't know. This Bernard, man, just walking out with that. What the fuck is that?
I'm assuming a drone controlled by Dolores to kind of shoot down any threats necessary. I will say, him walking out there is just him going, what's the exact thing I need to do right now?
Mm-hmm. He knows.
He's like, I don't know why I need to do this. I just know that I need to walk out into the middle of this field right now. I need to track this bug down, see where it goes, and I know that's what I'm going to be following. What the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah, all crazy shit. But
back to the dig site.
Yeah.
Real quick. At first, when it was just the sign, I'm like, a sign is a weapon here. I'm like, at first, I didn't read it and know any detail. I'm like, what kind of weapon is this? A box? What is it? Is this just a sign? And I'm like, what? And then I read it and I'm like, oh shit. And I was like, no. And then everything started to click, and I'm like, God.
He says, there is a body, but it's not her father's. Caleb isn't here, but the weapon I promised you is. And he reveals the face of Maeve, and I went, God damn it, yeah! Fuck yeah! I was like, yes. Oh, this was the best. I loved season 3, like I said, but I've only watched season 3 and 4 week to week, and this is the best week to week reveal I've gotten. Oh my fucking God,
and
yes.
This is halfway
through, man. But Caleb makes a run for it, and he bursts out of the elevators and races through the lobby of Olympiad Entertainment, which I think it's safe to say is just a rebrand of Delos. And it's where Christina is working as a writer. And Caleb pushes past a crowd of pedestrians and sees a giant tower in the distance. And the harmonic tone blares. And the pedestrians stop dead in their tracks, frozen like the hosts. And Charlotte walks on up and is like, yeah, what's up, bitch? And he's like,
welcome to my world.
You won. She says, welcome to my world. And a black bag is thrown over his head, and he is dragged away. And everyone keeps doing as they were doing as we pan off to the tower. Seemingly, I don't know if this is exactly right, but where the Statue of Liberty seems to supposed to be.
Maybe that's just what everyone still sees.
Oh, maybe. Good call.
But would she really call it her world if, like, she hasn't taken over, like, the whole world? Do you think she calls it, like, her whole world if it's still only, like, just, like, the northern, a little bit of United States?
Oh, no. She's taken over the world. Like, for the most part, save for this rebellion cell, the way any tyrant believes they've taken over the world, perhaps.
I think it's different, like, if she's taken over the world, she's, like, literally, like, she has control. It's not like a tyrant who thinks he has control because he puts himself up. She has control.
Yeah.
Literal, physical control of every person on Earth. Like, eventually, everyone. Once all the old people die, and it's all kids.
One should hope. Yeah, it's I'm bewildered. I'm very happy with where we're at. This was the most exciting, my favorite episode of this season so far, and immediately becomes one of my favorite episodes of Westworld ever. Following last week, which I also claim to be one of my favorite episodes of Westworld ever, and it just completely blew that out of the water. Like, it was just, like, not even close. So what if we slapped a rating on this bad boy?
Went ahead and preemptively slotted in 2 of the ratings really fast.
Yes, we've got our enjoyment rating out of 5 stars, our genre rating out of 5 stars, and our critical rating out of 5 stars. And yes, I do believe the enjoyment and genre rating are both 5 out of 5s for this here episode of Westworld. Enjoyment-wise, yeah, no doubts. I think you could tell throughout this episode it was obviously going to be a 5. And then genre-wise, just like, oh wait, massive twists, baller. Maeve's the weapon, baller. Robots taking over the world, baller. Like, come on now. That's a 5 out of 5 there.
And the floor for this is... Do you like it more than the first episode?
Yeah. It is a better episode than the first episode for the first time since week 1. Pretty narratively cohesive front to back with Maeve and Caleb. That's the storyline that is the true important through here. I'm going as high as 4.9. Yeah, it is a 4.9 out of 5 here.
Are we gonna have, like, perfect episodes? There's not much more room to go. You know, is it
like-
going to be a 4.95? A 4.975 then, you know, for the next one that goes higher? Like, if this trend keeps going, I don't know. How... This is halfway. Imagine the season finale.
Imagine the penultimate. That's the one I'm like,
Oh,
God. What happens in episode 7? Because that's always the one, you know? It's always the second to last that makes you go, oh my fucking God.
And you're right. The finale is all kind of like, it's the big reveal, but then it's kind of like the wrap it up. You know,
Yeah.
like, here's how it all wraps together and how it all goes. This being the halfway episode is just...
It excites me. It excites me in a way I haven't been excited for TV in a while. I mean, you know, save for Kenobi, I let that kind of like, it's Star Wars. It's a different sort of excitement. But, you know, I haven't really felt this excited about a season of television on air since Game of Thrones season 8.
Dude, I think I'm enjoying this more than I did Obi-Wan.
I mean,
Like the week by week experience.
Right.
I come off every episode of this going like, holy shit, I'm going to be fucking racing on this for, you know, until I go to sleep, or I'm going to be thinking of all, you know, of everything. And then Kenobi was, you know, it was like, all right, I'm not going to downplay it and say like Kenobi wasn't anything. It was amazing, and I got like everything I could have asked for.
But like I was saying, it's different. It's Star Wars. There's a different reason we're like, oh my God, I fucking love it. It's because it's Star Wars. This, man, it has the opportunity to be underwhelming. And it's not. It is the very absolute opposite of underwhelming. It's like, I think we're on the verge of the best season of this show since season 1.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how happy that makes me. Like, because I didn't think, and I still don't think it'll be able to top season 1. That's just like, I don't expect that of any TV show ever for me. Any season of television ever. But I have no doubts this will unseat season 2 for the second best. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think I might already be there.
I think I'm already there. You know, like, I think this storyline is already to a point where I'm way more in than I ever was during season 2.
I
it's
just
way
don't
more
think they
narratively-
mess it up, you know? Like,
Oh God, this back half, I don't think they will. I think we're
no.
I think we're safe. I think we're safe in the hands of these show writers. Susan Rubel and Kevin Lau. They've been dominating the last couple weeks. But a 4.97 out of 5 stars for Westworld's episode 4, Generation Loss. Man,
that's a tough. It's a tough one. You know, I from episode 1, I said the whole world has been taken over. I was like, nah, it's a facade. And then I'm like, you know what? All right, I'm pulling it back. Second episode. 3, we were still kind of unsure, but now it's. I don't think we really need to make. I don't know. Maybe we do still make a state of the world prediction.
I don't know, man. It feels pretty blatant. It feels kind of robots have taken over.
If we're in the 23-year timeline, talking there, yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. I'm now at a point that I don't think we'll ever leave it. I think this is just where we are from now on. Maybe save for flashbacks, but I think even then we'll know they're flashbacks.
Everyone's here now.
Yeah. Unless there is another reveal that Christina's timeline takes place in between. But until then, I don't think we should operate under that assumption. I think we should operate under the assumption that it is concurrent with the events of Caleb and stuff like that. Until it's revealed otherwise. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay. All right.
I mean, unless you want to operate under that assumption.
No,
I'm gonna
I
tell
think
you what
that's fair.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. I think we should make predictions. The biggest thing that I think right now to make a prediction on is Teddy. What's going on with Teddy? What I'm thinking like he is in the know at least. Like he knows of hosts. He knows he is a host. He knows he was a host at Westworld. Like, and he knows all of his, all of his memories that he's had as Teddy that we know. He knows all that.
Gotcha.
As to who he's working for or why he is there, I think is the interesting part.
I think it's got to be Charlotte.
Okay.
I think it's got to be Charlotte, and because I'm at a point where I can't fathom any reason for Christina's existence beyond Charlotte couldn't prevent it, and has to keep her from remembering who she is. If you remember who you are, you'll rise up and try to stop me, and I can't have that. Maybe the best way.
Why would Charlotte send Teddy in to wake her up? Like, why not just keep her? Because
to tease her. Yeah, I don't know.
It seems that Teddy's trying to wake her up, is what it seems. That's the vibe. Is like he's trying to either it's out of the love of his heart to wake her up for her own good, or if it's like to wake her up for the own good of humanity. Like maybe this is humanity's try at getting Dolores to wake up. Why in 23 years in Christina's timeline would 3 people be running and say, is this your first time? You're not going to believe it. Why would they say that 23 years when everyone is taken over but a few humans in the same city that we saw Hale control everyone with?
God, there is something that is trying to wake Christina up. I don't know that it is Hale, though. Okay, no, wait. Christina's doesn't take a little place before. It takes a little bit after, and it's Maeve trying to wake her up.
Whoa.
Maeve is working with the cause now once she's woken up as the weapon. She is able to send Teddy. She is able to control Maya in a slight way, set her up with Teddy. That's the reason Teddy would leave the maze on the outside, the sign of the revolution. Maeve is trying to wake Dolores up.
Wow. Okay.
That's the best I can come up with. I will not be able to elaborate beyond that.
No, but that has some credence, though. Because what would they do with Maeve to take down Hale? Is like, it has to be... Christina has to have some purpose in the story. She wouldn't be shown this much if she didn't matter. Obviously there is some purpose to her. And she is the key to switching. I don't know. I guess Bernard says that I don't know. Is Bernard saying that she's the key to saving everyone? Is that just the immediate key for the time?
See, and that's the thing. Is it does that mean Frankie's gonna save the world, or is it depending on what happens to Frankie, it could mean the fate of the world? You know what I'm saying?
Or is he just saying she's the key to our situation right now? If she takes us, we'll live and we can save humanity. If she decides to leave, we're fucked. You know, she's the key right now. Is she the key for the whole plan, or is she just the key? Or how did he refer to her? Like the key to it all,
The key
or like
to all.
oh, okay, then nah, then that's like everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay. Because
Okay, well, I mean, like, just because she's the key doesn't mean Dolores wouldn't be a massive fucking help.
that's true.
You know, like, it doesn't mean that Dolores has to be the key. It just means that Dolores is someone who can objectively help them.
Okay. Let's see, what other storylines are we forgetting? Or like, okay, so Teddy with Christina, cool. Bernard, let's see, what's going on with Bernard at the very end? He wakes Maeve up. He's waking Maeve up. And Stubbs is out with whoever. Where did they go? To see about the outlier?
I don't think they ended up leaving. Oh, wait, yeah, they did end up leaving together, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they are trying to go see
They
about
went
the
to go
outlier.
see about the outlier, which, if it is Christina or her roommate, Stubbs would recognize Christina if he sees her. Okay. Because I was wondering why Stubbs had to go with them.
From that moment on, they know they can't extract her immediately. They have to come up with a plan to extract her. That requires Maeve and Bernard's help. And they have to wake her up. I don't know. That's the best I can come up with, is that Maeve and Bernard are with the Revolution in an effort to wake Dolores up to fight herself. Now, still doesn't clarify how the fuck Christina would be writing any of this shit. But,
Dolores crushes her own brain ball. Does that kill every Dolores? Or just that one?
Just that Dolores, I think.
There's nothing that she can, like, sacrifice herself and just be like, alright, let's end it. Unless we're still right about the Uno Reverse card that's going to be played on Hale. But it's just, as of right now, we were very wrong, and Hale played the Uno Reverse card on us. But she won the battle. We're talking about the war. We're about to flip it on its head again. Use the tower against her somehow. Like, flip the tower, instead of radiating a signal of control, it instead radiates something that just wipes the virus from everyone. Somehow. Go. Like a mass, instead of a mass infection, it's a mass heal.
Mass antidote.
Yeah.
Okay. I fuck with it.
That's kind of all I have. Like, I don't... Where else we're just 23... We're 30 years in. We have the whole world seemingly taken over. A little bit of humanity left. Maybe 100 people? I don't know. Could be be scattered around the world. Maybe there's 10,000 or 50,000, a million. Who knows? Like what the state of the world is like, and if there's multiple of these groups.
Right. Yeah. My only other theory is that the reason, my only other theory at all pertaining to this episode is the reason she's tested the fidelity of Caleb so many times. That's the only other thing. And it's so that she can infiltrate the revolution via him. Granted, wouldn't make a lot of sense for him to look exactly as he did 23 years ago. Who's going to believe that?
Oh. Yeah. So she's going to have to... Oh my god. So did I really see the Man in Black older?
That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know.
Because he would need to be quite a bit older.
About 23 years,
if she's planning to use him to be
infiltrate,
to be like,
yeah.
oh, Frankie, oh my God, you know,
but regardless, it would shake Frankie to see Caleb, no matter what.
That's true. Even if she finds out, like, yeah, he's a host. Maybe like she goes in at first, like saying, no, this is your real father, and then like somehow Frankie finds out it's a host. Like Maeve tells her, like, that's not your real father, but then Charlotte then just goes like, does it matter? I've tested him. I've tested him countless times. He is himself every single time. This is a perfect copy of your father. In most ways, it's better. He won't die. You know, no disease, no. You know, like she just starts giving him all the benefits of being a host versus a human. You know, and then
so the key. The reason Frankie is the key in that scenario is she has to choose between accepting her father as is or killing him on the spot.
Yep. Frankie's going to have to make... Frankie will make the decision.
Yeah. Caleb wasn't the key to the revolution. His daughter was. And his final sacrifice will be made through her.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I feel like we got some juice.
I feel like we got some juice as well. We squeezed it out there. You know, it was hard. This was a hard one to theorize about because it felt like a revolution, like a revelation of an episode. We got a lot of stuff confirmed, a lot of stuff on the table still, and I'm just so excited to see where the back half of this series goes. Consider this the halftime heat check, if you will. I can't wait.
And it's been
for the
hot.
back half.
It's been hot. The lowest 4.62. Yeah, this episode was
This has been a fucking season.
Near perfect,
my guy.
So, yeah.
This has been a fucking season. Not an episode dipping below a 9 out of 10. That's nuts. That's nuts. But with that, we conclude this episode of the Westworld Watch covering Season 4, Episode 4, Generation Loss. If you would, head to patreon.com/CoroBloom where you'll find over 30 hours of exclusive content, including just these previous weeks. I've been doing comic pull lists and book reviews, a bunch of Star Wars novels, so if you're a Star Wars fan, I know you'll dig that. This Thursday, I continue my journey through the High Republic era of Star Wars as I've reviewed Rising Storm by Cavan Scott, the sequel to The Light of the Jedi, and I will also be doing my usual pull list for the week, and I think I'm also going to review Berserker Volume 1, the comic book by Keanu Reeves. So, of course, we're going to cover that on patreon.com/CoroBloom. Go check that out. If you would, head to Twitter, follow @PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram @PennyBloomPodcast. I am Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And these violent delights have violent ends.